Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils and today, in a nutshell, the game Extreme. What is Extreme? Hey, we all know the game from IDW, but what is this blue version? Why there's Extreme? Hey, you're here to learn that. So, the game Extreme is exactly the game, with one exception. All the cards are blue? No, that's not true. No, it's exactly the same. You have 98 cards, value 2299, all of that in one stack, and you have 4 of the starting cards. And then, if you can see here, just the design is different. Instead of red, it's blue, but there is more. What a surprise. So, and the more is this symbols here. You have 7 different symbols. 3 orange one with this lightning bolt here, and that means these are immediate effects. When you play this one, the 95, and it doesn't matter where you play it on which of these stacks, I mean, obviously you wanted to play it there, then your turn ends. If you cannot, or if you don't want to use that effect, you cannot play the card. This is the only card that overrides it. You have to play 2 cards, so you can play this one here and end your turn. This is the only card that makes it slightly easier sometimes, not always. What is the next one? This one is even more critical because you have to play another card on this card on top of this on the same stack, otherwise you are losing. So this you would probably play here on this one when you go up 87 and then 95. The next and the last orange card is the 3 with this exclamation mark here. This means you have to play exactly 3 cards. It doesn't matter on which of these stacks, but 3, not 2. No, you have to play 3. The other ones are blue, and blue means infinite ongoing effects. If you play that ongoing effect here, you are not allowed to communicate with others until it is covered. So later on, if you cover that, you can talk again, of course. The other 3 blue effects are no 10 rule is in place any longer, so you cannot go down or up by 10 in the other direction than you normally have to. Keep in mind, I'm not explaining the basic rules because if you wanted to learn the basic rules, you can see my normal game in a nutshell review if you want. So this means you only have to draw 1 card, or you only are allowed to draw 1 card, even if you play all the 6. Next time you are only drawing 1 card, and that means you have the choice out of 1 card, which makes it even harder. And the last one is the very brutal one. If that was on a stack here like this, everybody has to play on this stack. And like always, in a nutshell, I wanted to talk about my personal experiences with the game Extreme, and I wanted to compare that with a basic game. First of all, if you don't own the game and if you have no idea what the game is a co-op version of a card game, easy light card game. All the things are in the box you see on this table here. It was nominated for Spiel des Jahres, so it's a really, really good co-op game in my opinion. But the basic game really breathes and lives if you are communicating. So if you are talking to your other players here like this one, and you're not allowed to say, oh, I have number 84 on my hand and you only have to play this card. But if there is a, let's say, 88 there, you can say, oh, I have card with just a small gap between that and that on my hand, but that has a stipulation on it. So, and you can ask, do you have a number, a low 80th number on your hand, other players? Because if the next player has that on his hand, let's say an 82 or an 81 or whatever, then it's perfect to play that. Why? I mean, the next player has to play at least 2 cards if you're playing with 3 or more cards, and then this is a perfect play. But if he don't have an 80, let's say he has only 50, 51, 53 and things like that, then this is a huge gap and he must play on this, or she on this card next time. So that is not a good timing. And now you see that this card is really brutal and nasty. So the idea is to play this card after you discussed all the opportunities, all the options, all the cards you have. So everybody should know what you have on your hand, even if you are not allowed to talk about a specific number. But you can talk about a specific range, like, oh, all my cards are in between 40 and 50. If all of your cards are in between that, that's completely allowed. But it's not allowed to say I have a 42, a 43, a 49, and a 47. That's not okay, but all my cards are in the 40s is perfectly fine. And this game, the game Extreme, forces you to communicate even more than in the base game. Let's address it like this. If you don't have the base game, you should definitely buy the game Extreme. Why? Simply, you can play the game with or without the symbols. I mean, you can use it as a normal 32 instead of just a 32 with this special ability. You have 2 games in this one box. So if you don't own the game, and for me it's a must-have game, you should definitely buy the game Extreme. You get 2 games in one pack. If you have the game and you like it, but it's very difficult for you and your group to win, you definitely, there's no need for you to make the game even harder, because all the 7 cards making the game harder, in my opinion. So it's more challenging. But if you win almost every time, 8 out of 10 games from the original game, then you want more competition. And the game Extreme is more competition for the people who played that and mastered the game in the red box version. Thanks for watching. My name is Nils. This was another In a Nutshell from a really interesting expansion slash new box slash new version slash extreme of the game. See you next time. Until then, bye bye.